Hey, guess what's happening on this week's episode of the Beating Diabetes podcast with your friend and host, Oscar Camejo.
Hey, if you feel like your weight loss journey has been in vain, maybe you've been at it for a long time and you just feel like, man, this is going nowhere. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to eat right, trying to exercise, and things are just going way too slow. And because it's slow, you may be at that point where you're like, hey, is this stuff even worth it? Is it even worth me putting all this time in, spending all this money to eat right and do the healthy thing? Should I just go ahead and give up, cave in, and quit? Listen, a lot of us, we've been there before. You've tried all kinds of diet programs. You've tried all kinds of exercises. You know, you've seen this latest trend and you went after that and you're like, okay, something has to work. But things are going really, really slow. You're looking around you and people seem like they're winning all the time. And you feel like, man, what about me? You feel like you're getting left behind in the gym. And so when you go to the gym, you feel what's called gym shame. And so you're working out and you just go in there with your head down, it's hanging low, and man, you're just ready to give up. You're just at that point to say like, you know what, man, none of this is worth it. I'm not seeing results. Things are going real slow. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about the mistakes that most people make when it seems like their weight loss journey is going way too slow. If you've ever been there, if you ever felt like that, maybe you feel like that right now, this is definitely the show for you. You're going to learn how to set yourself up for long-term success, because it's not just about the short-term wins, but the long-term successes at the end of the day. You're going to learn how to avoid dangers of comparing yourself with other people and their progress. You're going to receive, lastly, my recommendation on setting yourself up for victory after victory. So you definitely want to stick around for the rest of this episode. Hello, and welcome to the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle Podcast with me, your host, Oscar Camejo. Hey, this is a weekly journey, and I'm glad you guys are here every week. This is published every Wednesday. So now I appreciate you all tuning in every Wednesday. But guess what? On Mondays, I have what's called the Journey Journal, because guess what? All of us, we're on this health journey. We want to live good, feel great. And sometimes, you know, we need that encouragement. We need that motivation, and we want to have that inspiration. That's why I created this podcast. It's to help diabetics make lifestyle changes to reverse type 2 diabetes. It's that simple. Now, listen, I know sometimes it gets hard. It gets really tough. I used to be 268 pounds. I was overweight. I was tired, struggling. And then I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And on top of that, you know, it was just like, where do I go from here? How do I deal with this issue? So today, I want to talk to you about something that I kind of mentioned last week. You know, in the previous episode, I mentioned about how I came up on my 1-year anniversary, of me starting my journey. That's right, folks. June of 2022 made it a year. When I first started, it was tough. Even thinking back, I remember those first few pounds. Matter of fact, that first pound to that first 5 pounds was, it was just crazy hard. And if you've ever tried to lose weight and seeing 1 pound come off the scale, you feel kind of good and you're like, okay, I got X amount to go. And I remember, you know what, going to the gym and starting to eat right, quote unquote, eat right. And it just felt like those first 5 pounds was so hard. It was so brutal. You're talking about emotional brutality, physical brutality. And then mentally, you know, just going through the stuff of just beating myself up. And it was tough. It was really tough, especially when you're trying to do all this by yourself and you don't have a support group to really be there to motivate you, to pat you on the back and support you. A lot of times that's very, very tough. And I get it. I would go and I would look in the mirror like many of you, you're trying to lose those few pounds and you look in the mirror every day, sometimes maybe once or twice a day, especially after you've worked out, exercise maybe, and you're trying to look for, that quick evidence that something has changed. And if you were like me, man, looking in the mirror, you don't see a change right away. It's like, gosh, and you just feel defeated, especially if you worked out real hard and you've really, quote unquote, pressed past your limitations. And it's like, oh my gosh, then you start looking back and you're like, man, I'm not making any progress. I've been in the gym for 4 weeks now and I still look the same. I still feel the same. Then doubt starts kicking in, that self-doubt, that negative self. Am I going to make it? Should I go ahead and quit? And you just start going through this battlefield of your mind and emotions. And it's like, oh my God. And then you start getting to the point where it's like, you know what? Is this time to go ahead and throw in the towel? Hey, I've been there. I'm pretty sure you know some folks who've been there before, done that. I get it. So if you're struggling to lose weight, again, maybe this is your second time around trying to get at this thing, your third time around, or even your fourth time around. This time, I want you to finally get tired of quitting. You know how they say, get sick and tired of being sick and tired? Well, I want you to be tired of quitting. I don't want you to make quitting an option. I know there may be some limitations you have, but you can get to the point where you can press past certain limitations so you can get to the end result. And folks, like I've been telling folks, the end result is, not just losing, X number of pounds, like 5 pounds, but rather it is to live a lifestyle of health, a lifestyle of fitness, to reverse type 2 diabetes. But what happens after you reverse it? You see what I'm saying? Do you go back to eating and living the way you've been living? No, you want to maintain this lifestyle. That's why I was inspired to create the Beating Diabetes lifestyle. It's not just a one-time occurrence. You understand what I'm saying? So as we move on, I want you to think about this. You ever heard that saying that the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line? Well, you know what? We tend to want things quick and fast. The microwave, put it in the microwave now, get it back real quick. We like shortcuts. We want to save time. Even on the computer, we like to have shortcuts. What's a quick way for me to get this thing accomplished? What is a faster way for me to even have a life hack? There's that thing about a life hack. There's a hack for this and a hack for that. Because we want quick results. We want immediate results. We want fast results. We even like short tweets on Twitter. We like 5-second and 10-second TikTok videos. Don't go past 10 seconds or I'm going to pass by. We just like things fast. And then we want the 10-day weight loss transformation program that's guaranteed for you to lose 30 pounds in 10 days. That's crazy, folks. Come on now. That's why we get into making mistakes. And these are common mistakes that I'm about to show you and share with you that people make when they want things to be quick, fast, in a hurry. Listen, folks, life doesn't work like that. Real life doesn't work like that. You ever heard of the story of the tortoise and the hare? The turtle and the rabbit? They're both setting out at the beginning of this race. And, the rabbit is all cocky. The rabbit is like, hey, I'm going to win this. The turtle was slow. So, the race starts and the rabbit is gone, jumping, doing what he needs to do. And here comes the slow turtle, taking his time, going at his pace. And then the rabbit, it ends up just stopping and looking back and kind of waiting on the turtle to catch up, and he's there eating, he's just there chilling, like, come on, man, you're real slow. Then by the time the turtle catches up, the rabbit takes off again. Then here's the slow turtle, keep going. But then, you all know the story. I forget the fairy tale, but at the end of the day, the turtle actually wins, because it's not about how fast you can get to the finish line. It's about getting to the finish line and how you get there. So some of us, we may be physically moving slow. We may be physically seeing slow changes, but that is okay. It's okay. Go at your own pace. Because listen, when you try to rush and you try to be like the rabbit, like the person in the gym, they're doing the 8 miles on the treadmill going fast, and you're struggling with doing half a mile. Hey, I've been there. Trust me. I get it. And you're trying to compare yourself with how fast somebody else go. Come on now. We can't do that. So here are the mistakes that most people make when it comes to losing weight, and it seems like it's going way too slow. Mistake number 1, not having a plan. Trying whatever program is trending. You see people at the gym doing, what they seem to be like these workout routines, and they seem to be getting results. But you go in, or you see somebody else who goes in, and it seems like they're just wandering around in the gym. I see that often when, I'm working out and I'll see people on their phones. They come in, they're on their phones for about like 10 minutes, it seems, doing I don't know what. And then they're literally just kind of walking around. And I see it for somebody who's there for the first time. They're trying to, get a lay of the land, trying to see what's going on, but they don't have a plan. So mistake number 1 is not having a plan. Going into this weight loss journey, not having a plan is not good. It's not good, because you're just like, wandering around in the gym. You'll be wandering around trying to figure things out, and then realize that, what? This looks good, so let me try this. Oh, well, that looks good. Let me try that. And, you get exhausted. And some people I see in the gym, they're in there on their phones longer than they are actually working out. Then they actually leave. Some people go into the gym for other reasons and so forth. So I won't ramble on about that. So the second mistake that people make is minimizing small progresses. Now that's big. Thinking that weight loss should happen real fast. We kind of talked about that earlier. So it's like that person who, they've lost 2 pounds, but they're like, man, I didn't lose 5 pounds. So they minimize the fact that, hey, you actually lost 2 pounds. That's a small victory. Or you reach the 5 pounds and you're like, man, I only lost 5 pounds. I want to lose 10 pounds. So then you end up getting to that 10-pound mark and still not satisfied. Now, I'm not saying you should settle, but at each level, you should look at your progress. And I don't want you to minimize your progress. Number 3, comparing your progress to someone else's results. You may see that, okay, you made your 2 pounds, you lost the 2 pounds, you lost the 5 pounds, or maybe you even lost 10 pounds. That's something worth celebrating. But when you look in comparison to Mr. So-and-so or Sister So-and-so over here, they look like they lost more pounds than you. And it looks like they did it in a shorter time. Well, you don't know their story. Even if you did know their story, so what? I want you to think about this. They say that comparison is a thief of progress. So if you're not making progress, if you're seeing your progress that is going way too slow, is it really going very slow and you're actually not getting results? Or is it that you've minimized it so much, you've minimized your results so much that you overlook the fact that you have made progress. But if you keep putting yourself up in front of somebody else's mirror, you're looking at their body, you're looking at their results, you're looking at their wins, and you're like, you know what? Hey, I'm not winning. I'm not getting any results. I'm trying and it's not working. Is it really not working? I believe you are trying. You are doing good in the gym, but maybe a big mistake that you're making is that you're not paying attention to the fact that you are making progress, that you are winning. Yes, it may take a while. Listen, remember, I told you after a year, people are just noticing the hard work that I've been putting in. I didn't go into this to beat diabetes and develop this lifestyle so I can be noticed by people. No, I did it so I can live, so I can be happy about myself and celebrate my victories and celebrate my progress. You see, I couldn't afford to sit there comparing myself to somebody else. Now, were there times where you see somebody, you're like, wow, okay, this person looks good. This person seems like they're thriving in the gym. And you're like, okay, good. I'm okay with celebrating someone else's victories, but not at the expense of diminishing my own. So I don't want you to do that either. So I want you to keep this in mind. Now, how do you avoid making these mistakes? If you already made the mistakes and you're doing it, if you've already had a habit of making these mistakes, I want you today to stop it. Okay? I'm your friend, so I can talk to you like this. So listen, here's how to avoid making these mistakes. It's real simple. Number one, have a realistic plan. That seems simple, right? Yeah, it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be complicated. Have a realistic plan for your overall health. I'm talking about a plan for your eating. I'm talking about a plan for your exercising, even a plan for how you talk to yourself. That mental battle that goes on, have a plan for how you're going to turn that around. Now, how do you do all that? So when it comes to nutrition, having a plan, I don't want you to chase after something that seems like it's popular. That's not going to work for you. What works for me may not work for you. What you see someone else do and what they have working, and they're like, man, I got results. I was able to do XYZ in 10 days. And then you start wrapping yourself in cellophane foil and getting on the treadmill because you saw that on somewhere and you heard that will help you to shed pounds. Or it's hot, it's the summer, and you're like, as long as you just, work up a great sweat. And so then you put on sweats and you do all these crazy things to try to make yourself sweat even more. And then you end up hurting yourself because you get dehydrated, not taking in enough fluids, the right fluids, and you go into the gym or you go outside running and you about pass out because you're trying to keep up with somebody else and some latest fad. I don't want you to do that. Or you hear about intermittent fasting, which is good. I do intermittent fasting. But then you go overboard. You're like, you know what? I want to speed up these results. So instead of doing a 16-hour of fasting and an 8-hour window of eating, you're like, you know what? I'm going to do 18 hours of fasting. And I'm going to narrow my eating window to just 6 hours. And in those 6 hours of eating, I'm only going to eat, a little bit of vegetables and a little bit of protein. And then you start starving yourself because, hey, that's a trend that's out there. Or you hear, oh, let me do this diet or do that diet because you know what? You want to get quick results. Or even worse, you hear about these magic pills that will help you to shred pounds. Come on, folks. Let's not be naive. Okay. So again, number one, have realistic plans. Have a realistic plan. Something that's specific, something that's measurable, something that is achievable. You hear what I'm saying? So again, instead of wandering in the gym or buying food aimlessly, have a plan. Find out what actually will work for you that you can do on a regular basis and it becomes a habit. It's part of your routine. It's not something that you do for a 10-day or 15-day spread and that's it. Oh, you're just trying to get ready for some event and that's it. I want you to have your goals that are more realistic and more sustainable than just a short-term fix, because we're talking about your health so you can live long. Okay, number 2, I want you to start celebrating your progresses, no matter how small. Now, how do you celebrate your small victories and your small progresses? Listen, number 1, don't despise small beginnings. It's a biblical principle. Don't despise small beginnings. Yeah, even though your beginning is small right now, your progress may be small right now. You're at the beginning stages, or maybe you've been at this for a while, a couple of months now, or maybe close to a year, or maybe you've been at it a year and you're looking back and you're like, man, my progress has been small. Listen, although your beginnings are small right now, although your progress has been small right now, don't despise it. Don't look down negatively at your progress. Don't do that. Because then if you start having that, giving into that negative self-doubt and looking back and like, man, I've only done this and I've only done that, that's one of the worst things that you can do. You see, so that mental game that you play, I want you to stop playing games with your thoughts. Throw away all those negative thoughts, get rid of them, that negative self-doubt, and replace it with positive thoughts. So I want you to celebrate your progresses, no matter how small. Start by being kind to yourself. Along with not despising your small beginnings, I want you to be kinder to yourself. Be nicer to yourself. Stop looking in the mirror and calling yourself, oh, look at you. You're just fat. You're not going to do this. Some of you actually vocalize this and you give life to those words and you wonder why you struggle. Listen, I get it. I used to look at myself as this walrus, this 268-pound walrus. And I knew, I've always been a positive person. And I'm like, man, where's this self-doubt coming from? So I had to tackle those thoughts and I had to stop despising myself, hating how I looked in the mirror. I had to reframe my thinking. So I had to be kind to myself. So that's what I'm asking you to do. Be kind. Speak kind words to yourself. Be nice to yourself. When you don't eat a specific junk food or something, or drink something that's not healthy, don't beat yourself up over it. Just say, okay, hey, that's an area of progress that I need to make. So, hey, you can do it. Talk to yourself. Hey, Oscar, man, I know you have that craving for this. I know you have that craving for that. But hey, look at it. You didn't drink that or you didn't eat that. You ate a salad instead of getting a hamburger or French fries. Hey, man, way to go. Or you didn't grab those chips. Man, way to go. You start talking to yourself. Tell yourself that you're proud of yourself. Okay. Keep that in mind. Pat yourself on the back for every pound you lose, every junk food meal you don't eat, every food choice that's good that you make, celebrate it. Pat yourself on the back, folks. It's okay. Tell yourself good things. So get used to speaking good things over yourself and about yourself. Bottom line. Listen, you probably beat yourself up enough. Others may have beaten you up and said some really horrible things to you and about you. Don't do it to yourself. Speak positively over yourself. So number 3, don't compare your progress to someone else's. I've said it already. Avoid this mistake of comparing yourself to other people. And this is a thing that I want you to eliminate from your vocabulary. It's this phrase, than me, THAN me, than me. For example, eliminate things like, oh, she looks better than me. Oh man, yeah, he works out better than me. He seems to be more disciplined than me. Wow, she has her life much better together than me. You see what I'm saying? Oh, wow. She cooks better than me, or he is blank better than me. You know what you've been telling yourself for all this time when you go to the gym? Oh, she looks better in her workout gear than me. Come on. Does it really matter? Does it really matter that dude over here in the corner lifting 8,000 pounds is in a tank top and his muscles are popping out of his too small to wear shirt, and you're in your situation? Does it matter? Stop comparing yourself. It doesn't matter. Remember, I told you earlier, comparison is a thief of progress. So stop comparing yourself. Everybody's on their own journey. So let them walk out their journey. You're on your journey. So walk out your journey. Celebrate who you are every step of the way. Your journey is your journey. Your journey is not anyone else's journey. Your journey is not a game of competition. Your journey is not about you comparing yourself and competing against someone else. There's only one person that I want you to compare yourself to or compete against, and that's the old you. The one who wasn't healthy, the one who wasn't doing what he or she needs to do. Compare yourself to that person. As you start celebrating, start looking, hey, you know what? This is where I was. This is where I want to be. I'm making my progress. Work on being a better version of yourself. You're in competition with that old person, the person who was struggling with the cravings and didn't want to change. You're listening to this podcast because you do want to change. Before, you probably didn't really want to change, and maybe you had an idea of what you wanted to do. But here you are taking on information so that you can actually change. So celebrate that. Celebrate the fact that you're moving forward. No matter what it takes, remember to be a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday. Before, you probably couldn't walk a mile, but today you can. Celebrate that. Come on. Brother, you may be struggling with lifting 25 pounds when you do your bicep curls. But remember, there was a time where you couldn't lift up 5 pounds or 10 pounds, but you made it. You may look at, hey, I'm struggling with, buying certain foods because I don't know what to eat. And I go grocery shopping. I have all these different options. And then you're like, you know what? I'm going to start eating salads. Even if I go to fast food, and you've started that, celebrate that. That's worth celebrating. You see, that's changing the way how you think about yourself. When I first started, I wish I had some resources that I knew about that I could get, and that could help me on my journey. I get questions from people all the time on social media, from TikTok to Instagram, Facebook. People want to know, okay, how do I get started? How do I shop for food? And one thing I always tell people is start with your fruits and vegetables. A lot of us, we don't get enough fruit and vegetables in our diet. It's one thing to get rid of the sweets and the cakes and the pies and the fruit juices and all this other stuff that we shouldn't be eating, at least definitely not on a regular basis, and eating late at night and sleeping only a few hours, all of that. But there's another thing to now say, okay, I'm replacing all those things. What do I add to? And I always tell people you have to increase your vegetables. You have to increase your fruit. So I put together a free resource that I want to give to you. It's free of charge. You can download it from my website. It's called the Healthy Grocery Shopping Guide, the Fruits and Veggies Edition. You definitely want to go ahead and get that. It's free. Just go ahead and log on to www.beatingdiabetieslifestyle.com/grocery list and get yourself a copy of that. Just enter your email and I'll make sure that you'll be able to get that. As a matter of fact, once you get it, you'll be able to download it right away. You don't even have to wait for it. You can download it straight to your phone. You can follow it, take it with you when you go to the grocery store. It's a great resource. So finally, as I wrap up, I want to leave you with this week's focus point. The focus point is that one thing I want you to take away from everything that I've said, and I want it to carry you through the rest of the week and into next week, and just something that you apply to your life. When you have gotten sidetracked somewhere along the way of achieving your health and fitness goals, that's okay. Today is your opportunity to reset, regroup, and reignite your drive to keep moving. But you must start. So that's it for this week. Until next time, stay focused, keep moving, never go back, leap forward, bounce back because you can. And above all else, trust God. You got this. I believe in you. Be sure to visit the website at www.beatingdiabetieslifestyle.com for access to free resources and other information that will help you along your journey. If you would like to submit a question or a comment about the show or to learn more about the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle, you can always email me at hello@beatingdiabetieslifestyle.com. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to this podcast.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Beating Diabetes podcast with Oscar Camejo. We hope you enjoyed this episode. As a reminder, this podcast is intended for motivational and educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional care by a physician or other healthcare professional or qualified fitness instructor. This podcast is provided on the understanding that it does not constitute medical or professional advice or services. If you're looking for help on your journey, seek a qualified medical practitioner. It's important that you utilize someone who is a trained, licensed healthcare professional who can help you on your journey toward good health.